Hi, my name is Anne Francis. Thank you so much for always tuning in. Thank you so much for always being there. May God bless you. Thank you for the new subscribers. Welcome if you are new in this channel. Feel welcome. This is where we encourage, this is where we inform, this is where we inspire, and this is where we give a shoulder to lean on. And I have been doing a series on Ask the Next Parent. This is the series where we have been talking about parenting, and this is, I think, that video that I'm talking about parenting. And today I'm talking about parenting children in a dysfunctional relationship, a dysfunctional marriage, or in a relationship which is not doing very well. And where are the children left, and where do you come in as the family which is not functioning very well? Where do you come in? Because remember, when I talk about parenting, I'm talking about uh, the next generation. We are talking about children who are the next generation. So if you like such videos, if you like such informative videos, please do not forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell. Don't forget to follow me so that we can talk about this and I give you a chance to do it. I'll be back. So yeah, I'm talking about bringing up children in a dysfunctional family. That is parenting in a family that is not functioning very well. And when I talk about a dysfunctional family, I talk about not only the divorce, people who have separated. I also talk about a family where there is sibling rivalries. I am talking about parent-child conflict. In psychology, this is what we call parent-child relational issues or problems. That is a disorder, by the way, on its own. When I talk about dysfunctional family, I'm talking about domestic violence, I'm talking about sexual abuse, I'm talking about physical or mental illness, single parenthood or parent households, I'm talking about alcohol, drug use, any chemical dependence member in a family. I'm talking about extramarital affairs. I'm talking about any sort of addiction, even gambling. When one of the members has a problem, we talk about that family being dysfunctional. Remember, when one member of family is sick, the rest of the members are affected. And so when I talk about bringing up or parenting in a dysfunctional family, that is exactly what I mean. So what do we do to the children whenever there is something that is happening that affected all the children? I mean, the whole family. As parents, you know very well, these children are going to face these difficulties or these disorders that may be happening or taking place in the family very differently as compared to how the adults will take it. I've watched movies when I was off. I've watched so many movies where a child is sick and the rest of the members of the families are sick, especially the siblings. So the children are the most affected whenever there is a problem that the family is facing. And I have talked about, when I talk about the dysfunctional families, I've given various ways in which the family may not be functioning normally. That is what I mean. So what do we do to these children? It is very important not to play the role of silence, nil by mouth. You know that your brother is chemical dependent, he's a drug addict, he's doing all those things. You know your father is doing ABCD, your mother is doing this and that, your brother, your sister, and then you tell the whole family to keep quiet and nobody can talk about it. In psychology, we say that is, what do you call it? I'm forgetting the word, but when you tell the children to keep quiet and not talk about it, the children are going to act in and not act out, because they are told they are not supposed to talk about that member of the family who is suffering or who is not sick. So the most important thing is to ensure that the whole family knows that so and so is struggling with this. If it is a problem with the violence, domestic violence, or the relationship between the parents, you as a father, you as a mother, it is very important for you to set the children to know that those issues that are taking place between the father and mother, husband and wife, those things will affect your children. So it is very important to ensure that your children are aware that you are struggling. I don't know which parent is going to inform those children what you're going through. And oh, sorry about that. Something has just popped up and I had to remove it. So one of you must be very sober, especially if it is about domestic violence, it's about separation, because the one who will suffer very much is the children. So it is very important, you as a mother and as a father, to ensure that your children are aware of what is happening, because trust me, these children as young as 3 years can tell and can know what is happening. And they will one time question you. I've dealt with so many teenagers because I am a mentor of teenagers apart from being a psychologist or a counselor, and I'm also an educator. I've dealt with so many teenagers even in my other lines of duty. Many teenagers who have sat their parents down and told them, we are tired of what is happening. So if you are not to set these kids aside and tell them what is happening, they will question you. And trust me, you will not love it. So it is very important that, number one, to ensure that these children are aware of what is happening, and so that you can get them and separate them from your problems. If I have a problem with my husband, it is important for me or for us to make sure that our children are not part of it. And if they are a part of it, we should know how we are going to help them cope with it. A good example is where the separation is taking place. Another example is where divorce is taking place. It is always important to prepare these kids and tell them this and this is going to happen. And if you are unable to do it and to tell them so that we don't affect the next generation, it is important to take them for counseling and ensure that they are counseled. And so that, because when you don't involve these kids in whatever is happening, if you don't help them to cope with the stress that comes with the family not functioning normally, it will affect them even in their adulthood. It will definitely affect them. So it is very important to ensure that they are aware and they know, and you are helping them to deal with it, either through counseling or sitting them down and telling them this and that is happening. It is also important to tell them if one of the family members or one of the siblings is not feeling well, it is important to prepare them and tell them how they are going to support each other, because trust me, whether the family is functioning normally or not, family is supposed to be a support system. And if the family ceases to be a support system, it is always important to give them a place to lean on as children. Remember, I'm talking about children in a dysfunctional family. Make sure that you offer support. If the family is not supporting, offer a support. And one of the supports that I'm talking about is to ensure that you take your children for counseling, is to ensure that the school is aware of what is happening, because one of the consequences of a dysfunctional family is that these children who are going to school are going to their grades are going to be affected. So it is important to ensure that the teachers in the school are aware of what the child is going through, and so that the teachers can offer the support that the family may not be able to support at that specific time. The other thing that you're supposed to do is to ensure that you look at your children and see how they are coping with it. Because you could be going through a problem with one of the family members, and it affects the rest of the family. And you realize that when you are trying to support this family, this member of the family who is going through difficulties, you realize even the rest of the family is going through difficulties, and you realize that when this other family member is doing well, the rest of the family is doing, and so you is doing wrong or badly, and so it becomes a cycle. So it is important to involve the whole family and ensure that you offer that support that is required. The other thing that you're supposed to do is to ensure that even when you see your children coping differently, it is important to ensure that anything that a child cannot take in is going to cope using another behavior. Because every behavior is for a reason. Every behavior is a reaction to something that is happening. And so you realize that when you are going through abnormal things in your relationship and thinking that you do it in secret and in a secret and the children are not aware, it is important as parents to know that they are aware. When you pretend in your relationship, the children will know, or they'll definitely know that something is wrong. So it is always important whenever you are going through abnormal situation in a family to put the children into consideration. However tough it is, in the course of those wrangles, in the course of those problems, this is where we lose our kids, and we lose them completely, and especially the teenagers. Teenagers are going through their stuff. They are going through body changes. They are going through education system, wherever they are at. They are going through learning and all that, things that they cannot understand. And when they cannot get peace in their own home, it affects them. And this is where you find them using maladaptive practices like taking drugs, drug addiction, maladaptive practices like oversleeping, like failing, becoming don't care. They don't care what they're doing in school. And it's just because they are trying to react to what is happening at their home. I was talking to another educationist who was telling me that, it's an example that I'm giving you, that there is a boy in a certain school in a certain country who used to run away from school for several times. So in a week, he would jump through the fence and go, and then he's caught and he's brought back. So he was caught 3 times when he was running away. And upon being prompted why he is doing that behavior, he said it's because he wants to go and check on his mom. It was a boy in a certain country. He was trying to go and look at the mom, after the mom, because he felt that the mom is not well, just because there was some sort of domestic violence that was happening back home. And so when this child is in school, he's only thinking about the mom. So it is very important, even you who is going through domestic violence, it is important to give the support system to the child, because some of these things we don't hide. If it's domestic violence, it will come to the limelight. So it is important, like I was saying, maybe that parent or that mother would have told the class teacher that this and this is happening in my house. Please take care of that boy. So that boy would have a support system from the specific teacher. So it is important to speak out. It is important to know how our children are coping. Somebody will ask me about the children rivalry. The sibling rivalry is a disorder if you don't know. It is a disorder in psychology, and it is very important to know how you are going to deal with your children, especially when you realize that the fabric of the family is not so close and it is not neat. So deal with it, knowing that if you have 5 children, they are all yours. You don't have to love one. You solve the case and be fair to everyone. Now you know. This is the 3rd series. Drop a comment and let me know what you'd want me to talk about next, especially on parenting, because I want to go back to another series that I want to open, still talking about family and relationships. And may God bless you. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for being with me to this end. God bless.